Hi again, YouTubers. So I am sitting down to do a video that I don't think I have ever done before, and I've been asked a lot of times, both here on YouTube and on my Instagram, to kind of sit down and do a video about that. And that is all about kind of like fitness and where I've been and what I've done. And every time I think I'm going to sit down and do this, I think to myself, oh, but they don't know X, Y, and Z that happened or whatever have you. So I decided to sit down today and actually do a whole video strictly on my fitness journey thus far. I feel like this will help us go from here. I am hoping to start doing a fitness video once every 3 months, kind of tell you guys an update on what I'm doing differently, what I'm trying, how things have worked out, how they haven't worked out. But in order to do that, I need to tell you guys where I've come from. And that is starting with how I was growing up. Growing up, I was rail thin, guys. I'm talking, I got called a toothpick all the time. You turned me sideways and I had nothing on either side. I was flat as a board. I mean, I still remember, I wonder if I could find this picture. There was a photo of me at the beach and I was standing on like a board of some sort and I was standing sideways and it was like completely I was as flat as that board was. It was so funny. And I always think of that. It used to hang in my parents' house. So anyway, that being said, I was constantly teased because I was super skinny, flat as a board, no shape to me whatsoever. And that was all the way through high school. Like, I had nothing. And I could always eat whatever I wanted. And that pretty much continued on. In college, I was able to eat anything I wanted, didn't matter, don't work out, nothing. I did not have to worry about any of that. And I think there's pluses and minuses because you hear about people that have always struggled with weight and had to learn at an early age how to eat properly and kind of maintain and what to do in order to maintain a healthy lifestyle. And then you have people that grew up very thin, skinny, ate whatever they wanted, and then later in life their body changed and they had to adapt to that and learn how to eat properly, eat differently, and all of those type of things. I am definitely the latter of the two. I have had to learn as I have gone. So I went away to college, and when I came back, I had gotten my shape during my college years. I moved away and it was like I came back and I had shape to me. I had boobs, I had a butt, I had more shape to me. I actually had 2 different friends, I still remember this, when I came back, asked me if I had gotten a boob job because my body had changed so much. Because I was just rail thin, toothpick, turned me sideways, flat as a board. And then I went to more shapely. I was still very thin, but I had a chest and I had a butt. So it kind of developed later in life, I should say. But with that, I never gained weight in my stomach, in my hips, and my thighs, any of that. I ate whatever I wanted. I've always had a crazy sweet tooth, which back then didn't hinder me at all. Now it has. And I'll go through that as we talk through this video. So went through college, all of my 20s. I worked in a bar in a bathing suit for almost 10 years, from when I was 24 until I was about 34. And it was a bikini. I wore a bikini and I worked in a bar that I served beer at a beer tub. And I didn't have any problem with that. I was completely comfortable with my body. I always had a flat stomach. I had, a butt, but I didn't have big hips or thighs or anything like that. And again, I ate whatever I wanted. Like, I still remember working in the bar at night, my girlfriends and I, when we were cashing out at the end of the night, we would get cheesecake and French fries. And that was our nightly snack. This is a bunch of girls that worked in bikinis. And you might be like, ugh, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? You hear somebody say that and you're like, I hate that. I hate her. Whatever. But that was then. This is now. That was my 20s and through my 30s. I will say when I was about, I want to say I was my late 20s, probably about 28, I went to a gym for the first time ever. I had moved down to Maryland. I kind of decided that I needed to try and meet more people that lived in my area, and I thought, oh, I'll try and join a gym. I knew people I worked with, but I wanted to meet more people. So I went into this gym, and I wish I could remember what the gym was called. It was a chain that is not around anymore for a rightful reason. Forget what it was called. I wish I could remember that name. I went in, did a tour, went and sat down afterwards to discuss all the options. And at that point still, I wasn't sure if I needed or wanted to go to a gym. And I still remember the guy was like talking to me, and I was like, I don't know, I'll come back, let me think about it. And he's like, let me get my manager, he can tell you a little bit more. He leaves, this guy comes back, and this guy comes in and he's like, so why are you here? And I was like, honestly, I thought it'd be a good place to meet people and kind of, you know, get outside of my comfort zone, learn how to work out, this, that, and the other. And he was like, no, but what don't you like about your body? And keep in mind, at this stage too, I was completely comfortable. I didn't really have anything that I was like, I hated this part of my body. Like, I didn't have that. So my biggest problem area was always my thighs as I got older. That was kind of where my weight went, was in my thighs and in my hips. And so I told him that. I was like, you know, I wouldn't mind, you know, toning this up. And he's like, see? He's like, I agree. He's like, you need to be going to a gym. He's like, yeah. He's like, your thighs and hips definitely need to be toned down. And I was like, what? Like, so I left. I didn't join that gym because I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, it made me feel so uncomfortable, and it made me feel like he was pressuring me into feeling bad about myself to get me to join a gym. So I had a really bad taste in my mouth then about gyms and joining a gym and all of that. So I didn't join a gym. And I want to say it was about when I was 30, I had heard about a local gym by me that was a women's only gym that was putting a new branch in by where I was living. And it was going to be a co-ed version, but it was run by this woman and her family, and she had come from women only gyms and making women feel comfortable going to the gym. It had childcare. This was all back before that was really popular. You got to think now, this was almost 15 years ago, 14, 15 years ago. So I went in, met them, loved just the whole feel there, how comfortable it was, everything. So I joined the gym. I started going to the gym. So I'm 30 now, okay, at this point, what I'm talking about. I'm 30 years old. I decided to start going to the gym. I had a job where I worked from home, and I really and truly enjoyed going to the gym. A, it got me out of the house. And B, it got me, again, meeting new people, like getting things, different people, things like that. But the biggest thing was I started taking classes, and those classes held me accountable. How those classes held me accountable was you become friends with people in the class, you talk to people in the class, and then they start going, oh, where were you last week? You weren't at the class this week. What's going on? How did this happen? Where were you? What did you do this weekend? So on and so forth. So then it starts making you feel like if you don't show up for class, then they're like, oh, where were you? So when those days you would wake up and be like, it's raining, I just want to stay at home, I don't feel like doing anything, I'd be like, oh, okay, I better go to the gym, because if I don't go, they're going to ask me where I was, and then I'm just going to feel like, oh, I'm going to tell you, oh, I just decided to sit at home day. And I didn't want to do that. So it motivated me to get up and go to the gym. I loved it. I started out with body pump, then I got into cycling, then I got into like free weights and doing different things. I met people there, started working out with them, doing different things. I absolutely loved it. I stayed at that gym for a lot of years. Even after we originally, Marty and I moved down to the city in Baltimore, I was driving 20 minutes out to my gym because I loved it that much. After living in the city for about a year, I decided, okay, I should probably find a gym here. So I did join the gym, same one that Marty belonged to, and I liked it. They didn't have a lot of classes. They only had a couple. It was mostly cycling classes and like a body pump class here or there. But primarily I went to the gym and did like an elliptical or treadmill or something like that. And then I worked out with Marty and another friend of ours doing like more free weights and stuff like that. So I did that for a while. I was completely content about that. Again, keep in mind at that point, I'm mainly going to the gym in order to stay healthy, stay active, and tone my body. And that is exactly what I was doing and what I was getting out of it. Through this stage, I want to say in the beginning, like when I was in my 20s through 30s, I would say I was probably 115 to 120 pounds. And then in through my early 30s, I would say I was probably in the 130 to 140 range. We got married when I was 37, I want to say. I think I was 37, had MJ, got pregnant, had MJ at 38. And that's when things really started changing for me. After I had him, keeping in mind, I had him much later in life, so your body reacts differently to that. I had him, after he was born, I nursed him for, I think it was about 10 months. exclusively nursed him for 6 months, and then from 6 to 10, I think we did a little bit of some bottles and some nursing. I think the nursing did help me with the initial loss of the weight. When I was pregnant, other than the fact that if you saw me sideways or front on, if you saw me from behind, I actually didn't even look pregnant. I held him like a basketball. It was all the weight was in the front. I didn't even look any wider from behind. I looked the same. I was always curvy. I had a much smaller waist than my butt and hips, but that was never, I didn't ever mind that. I liked that curvier shape. Again, keep in mind the only area that I personally didn't love at this stage was more my thighs. I still, before I had MJ, had a good, decent flat stomach, not like real, you know, six pack or anything like that, but I had a nice flat stomach, got pregnant, had MJ. My body went back fairly well. I'm thankful I do not have I don't have any stretch marks. I have very minimal cellulite. It's just the way my body is, I'm guessing. I don't really have any issues with that. However, after I had him, the first year in, I belonged to a gym that I didn't know very well, where we had moved to, which is now here. I went to the gym. I'll be honest, I more went to the gym for the daycare. I needed a break. I got a good hour and a half with him in the daycare, and I was able to just, you know, kind of have some me time. I would go take a class, or I would go walk on the treadmill and watch a video, or whatever have you. It just kind of gave me a little bit of time to breathe. And that was what I needed at the time. When MJ turned 1, I kind of was like, started noticing even more changes where it was just, I was really fighting to kind of maintain, is the best way to put that. It just didn't come as easily as it did. And I really had to take a step back and look at my eating habits. I will mention, I forgot to mention this, from 36 to 38, I did join Weight Watchers, and not Weight Watchers, just online with the app. I went to meetings every single week, and that was when I was in my 140s, and I kid you not, I had hit my goal weight the week after my wedding. Literally the month, not the week. The month after my wedding, I hit my goal weight of 132, I think it was. I'm not 100% sure on that. It was either 130, 132, or 135. But I think it was 132 for some reason. Hit my goal weight. I maintained that. No problem, again, going to the meetings every week and weighing in once a week and tracking everything on their app and all of those type of things. Then I got pregnant, and you're not allowed to do Weight Watchers while you're pregnant. So then we're back to that 1 year mark. And at that 1 year mark was when I was no longer nursing at all, and I really started seeing my body just kind of changes. Like my stomach, obviously, do not get me wrong, it's not expected to look flat right away, but my stomach was just not going back to where it was. I was definitely more hippie and more thigh, like carrying my weight there. That's where my weight goes to. My weight goes two places. It goes to my hips and my thighs, and then it goes to my boobs. I don't want any more here. I'd like less here, but it goes here. So it is what it is, but that's where I tend to get my weight. So then at the 1 year mark, I kind of decided to kick it up a little bit at the gym. I started really getting into the classes there, started doing body pump, started doing cycling, started taking every kind of class they had. I take bar classes, I had taken yoga classes, step classes, ab classes. Like I was taking everything I could take. And I really wasn't seeing any changes. And so at that point then, keep in mind too, I am here September through May, June-ish, and then I'm away for the summers. And so the summer that he was turning 2, right? That would be 2. Yeah, 2. We went away for the summer. He's 2 in June. We're away for the summer, and I really couldn't work out. And this is after I had really gotten into working out. Where we live in the summer, there's only one, at that point, this one gym was not there. It just got there last year. There's no gyms around at this stage. There's beach yoga at 7:30 in the morning. I had a 2-year-old that I couldn't leave at the house at that point, so I couldn't go do that. And there's a running trail. But again, I'd have to make sure that somebody was there to watch him, so I'd only get to run like maybe once, maybe twice a week, depending on who was visiting, who was able to watch him, who was around, if Marty was working, if he wasn't. so on and so forth. So I really, really focused that year on my food and made sure that I ate smaller portions, that I made better choices. Now, keep in mind, it is easier to make better choices at a summer area like that. There's a ton of seafood, a ton of salads, a ton of options like this. And there is fried food places, don't get me wrong, but it was a little bit easier there to make good choices. Plus, when I'm on the beach, I take a sandwich with me, and snack things I tend to take are like fruits and, vegetables and things like that to snack on the beach. And so, plus it wasn't as rampant that I could just grab something here or there because I'm all the way out at the beach and I'm sitting on the beach and I don't want to go trekking back and forth. So it's a little bit easier to pay attention to my food while I was there. So I came back home, keeping in mind that I only worked out, I went from working out 5 days a week to once, maybe twice, and watching my food. And I had not gained, I had actually maintained, I had lost muscle tone, definitely, but I had actually maintained my weight loss. Now, keep in mind also, another key thing with me is I only weigh myself once a week. I pick one day. I used to pick a Monday. That's a bad choice because after a weekend is when I usually don't make good food choices and I have more sodium and things like that, and I'm bloated on a Monday morning. I now weigh myself every Friday, and that's what I've been doing for a couple months now. I was doing Mondays. I am now trying to do it on every Friday. So after I've been working out for a week, it just seems like a good time to keep me going and to motivate me. Do not weigh yourself every single day. That is bad practice because depending on what you eat, anything can affect you, how much water you drink, any of those things. So if you weigh yourself every single day, it's like you're going to be like on a roller coaster. You'll never know exactly where you are. So I came back and I had maintained my weight. Now keep in mind, I could definitely tell a difference in the definition. I had lost a lot of definition through my shoulder and my arms and my legs. I had noticed that, especially my calves get a lot of muscle, even though my thighs don't. And I was like, okay, so this is an issue with food for me. 100%, there is not a doubt in my mind that if I could get 100% on track with my food, that I would be able to be where I want to be as far as my body. And I don't mean that as far as the number on a scale. So that fall, I came back, I hired a personal trainer for 2 days a week, and I went and talked to a nutritionist at my gym. The nutritionist gave me a lot of information. I did a food journal. She checked everything. She saw how I was eating, told me what to make adjustments with. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't do all of them. I did them for like a week or so, and then I just didn't keep up with it. It just didn't work for me. So worked out with a trainer. I worked out with that trainer for almost 3 years because this fall, when I just came back recently, last September 2017, was the first time I stopped working with her. So I worked with her for almost 3 years and I saw results. I saw muscle tone, things like this, but I was continually gaining, but I was gaining weight as in muscle weight. So right now, as an example, my weight fluctuates from 150 to 160. I am in the 150 to 160 range. So keep in mind, back in the day, I was 115 to 120, and then I was 130 to 140. Now I'm 150 to 160. I jumped off that 140 to 150 range. It might have been there somewhere, but I don't remember it. But that being said, that doesn't matter to me. I'm not looking to be that 115 again. I'm not even looking to be in that 130 again. I'm actually not even looking to be that 140 again. I'm looking to, here's the key. I don't care what the number says. I am looking to feel good about myself. I am looking to feel good in my clothes, and I am looking, the two things I would like to see happen. I would like to see my stomach flatter, and I would like to see my hips/thighs toned a little bit more. I know what has to be done for that. Those are both areas that are affected for me by food. So right now, for this fall, I have not worked out with a personal trainer. When I came back in the fall, started doing Tone It Up. If you guys know Tone It Up, I did that years ago too. I don't really remember where that was in the process. I read the Tone It Up. I still am a member. I still have all the information. I followed that for a while. That becomes very difficult for me. I am not a carb girl by nature. I don't gravitate towards potatoes or rolls or things like that. Pastas, I could care less about. I tend to be more of I like meats. I love steak, but I love shrimp. I like chicken. but I don't like chicken on salads, if that makes sense. For vegetables, I'm definitely a salad vegetable person. I am not the best at vegetables. My downfall are two things. When I am hungry, when I am bored, I grab snacks that are salty and I grab snacks that are sweet. And I interchange those. I have something salty, then I want something sweet. When I have something sweet, I want something salty. It is a vicious cycle with me. Also, I tend to, when I eat dinner, I want something afterwards that's sweet. When I go out to eat, I always have to have some form of dessert. I don't drink, guys. I don't smoke. Like, I don't even drink caffeine. I have one green tea a day. Like, that's my limit of caffeine. I am not a caffeine drinker. I don't eat a lot of bad stuff other than my sweet tooth. My sweet tooth is the bane of my existence. Plus, I need to work on my vegetables, but let's be realistic. So it's a little difficult to understand and learn. I tried Tone It Up. I just, for some reason, had trouble. I like the concept of the 5 meals, but I had trouble sticking with what they thought you should eat during certain ones of those meals. It just is a little bit difficult for me. So overall, right now, I am now halfway to 45. I'm 44, almost at 45. I'm about 160 pounds, give or take a few. I think I'm at 158 this week. Like I said, I have learned to dress my body to where I am comfortable in it. I don't care what anybody else thinks looks good on me or doesn't look good on me. I know how to dress my body where I feel comfortable. And that's all I care about, quite honestly. I would like for my jeans to not be as tight around the thighs, and I would like for my stomach to not have any muffin top when I wear jeans. Those are my main goals. I mean, I don't think it's that ridiculous, but I do know that it is going to be food that makes that difference, because I do work out 5 to 7 days a week right now. Now, I am getting ready to go into the season where I am going to be at Cape Cod, and keep in mind, at Cape Cod, there's one gym there that is in an old warehouse with no air conditioning and no daycare. So I can't go to that gym because I still have a 5-year-old. I can't leave, 6-year-old. He'll be in a couple weeks. I can't leave him by himself. I can't just go to the gym and be like, I'll be back in an hour. So I am putting a treadmill in the house this year, and I am going to continue to watch my eating habits and watch how things change this summer by doing that. I am somebody that my body reacts best to cardio. I have some weights there, some free weights there. It's fine. I don't tend to, I've tried the beach body thing. If it's a video and I've got to do it and all that, I'm not going to do it. I know I'm not going to do it. There's no way. But a treadmill, I know I will at least do 30 minutes almost every day. We'll say at least same as where I'm at now, 5 to 6 days a week. I will do at least 30 minutes a day because I can go down and I can watch a TV show in the morning while MJ's eating breakfast. I can do a quick 30 minutes, get it over and done with, and I can watch a show and know I got some cardio in. That, along with eating properly, or not eating properly. Let's not kid ourselves, because summertime I eat ice cream. We have a chocolate shop there, and I have a lot of restaurants that I love desserts at. But the good side is we go back to a lot of the same restaurants. So once I've had something, I don't crave it as much. So I can just have a bite or two and be done versus eating the whole thing, which is probably what I did last weekend. Pretty much. Almost the whole thing, not the whole thing. So another thing that I am starting myself right now is actually Memorial Day weekend. When we were driving to the Cape, I was in the car. I started reading about that Weight Watchers Freestyle, I think it's called. I did sign up for that. I'm not going to be going to meetings this time, but I figured, why not give it a shot? I think it ended up being like $15 a month is what I signed up for. And for that $15, it will hold me accountable. There are free apps out there. There's MyFitnessPal, is what I used to use. It's funny, when I'm paying for Weight Watchers, I feel more obligated to go on and log it in versus MyFitnessPal. It was free. I would do it here and there. I wouldn't be consistent with it. So I am doing Weight Watchers because it will hold me accountable and I will log stuff more often. I just think that is a good method for me personally. Another thing that has been helping me a lot in the last, I got this probably 2 months ago, is my Apple Watch. I have the larger of the two. I don't know what it's called. I have the black-faced one. My band is just from Amazon. But this, I jokingly say my watch made me do it. I set my goal higher than what I think I could hit in a day. I have it at 1,000 calories. That's active calories. There is a difference between just calories burned during the day and active calories. Active calories are when your heart rate hits a certain level. And so I have my rings set to a higher one. I have it set to hit to 1,000. And I try to at least do 500 calories on a treadmill in the gym, something like that every day. I don't know what that will be for this summer, but I will update you guys in September when I come back. I figure every 3 months and kind of tell you how things are going. But I am at a good place, I feel like. I am excited to, you know, go through this process, figure out what works for me. I am big into kind of nailing everything down. If you haven't seen it yet, I did a whole video and a whole test on food sensitivity. I actually did a blood test that you mail in, and I'll put the link down below, and it tells you where your body is and how it processes every food you can think of, pretty much. It was crazy to list. And I really enjoyed that. So all of these things are super helpful for me, and just learning the process and learning how my body reacts to things and what I need to do to get myself in the best shape that I feel like I am. Again, I am not looking to be the little rail thin model that I might have been, you know, in my early 20s. That is not what I'm looking for at all. I am looking for a healthy version of me that just has a little bit of a flatter stomach than I have right now and a little bit more toned of thighs and hips. I don't think that's too much to ask. But there's a give and a take. Do I want to give up the foods that I love in order to get that? You know, it's constantly a balance. So that is everything for today. That is where I am at this point. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I will do an update in September and kind of tell you guys where I am. And let me know if you'd like to see this every 3 months, kind of a little bit of what I've changed and where I'm at as far as my fitness journey. What I am wearing today, I have on the YSL All Nighter, I think it's called, foundation. I have on Laura Mercier Bronze and Brighten, MAC Prep and Prime under my eyes, Bobbi Brown Longwear Cream Shadow Stick and Taupe, my Maybelline Brow Define and Fill Duo, a little bit of the Pixie Lash Primer, MAC Velvet Teddy with a little bit of Estee Lauder, I think it's called Rum Raisin. I just have on a typical workout shirt and a workout bra, like nothing crazy. I am bigger chested. There are only 2 sports bras that I love out there for working out. A Zella one and an old one that's no longer sold by Victoria's Secret. That's this one. Darn, but the Zella ones are really good. I will link my favorite one down below for you guys too. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any other questions or just have any questions you'd like me to touch base about as far as fitness and my journey, or you just have questions for me on how I did something that you feel like maybe I missed on, I'd love to hear from you. Please comment below. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day. Bye.